Ladies and gentlemen of the One Board, I present to you my triumph. Those of you who remember this little project will recall that it didn't start. Well, check this out. Oh yeah. Yes, I did. In honor of this momentous event, our week in review will feature all of the interesting things about my Toyota 4Runner project. For example, innocent bystander made an appearance this week and created quite a firestorm, and I mean that in a Pacific Palisades kind of way. So, the innocent bystander award of the week is all of my pages and pages and pages of notes. Whole bunch of words. Most of them are meaningless to most people, but they're important to me, so I'm sharing them. Thanks, IB. Our peeling camo wrap of the week goes to Scott and Anaheim's 6th Street Bridge thread, because the universal response to a camo wrap is why? What? I mean, I guess there's a need. Maybe you don't want to repaint the whole thing. Maybe you need camo to hide. I don't know. But there's never an initial response to a camo wrap that says, yeah, that's a good call. No, it's always iffy. So the 6th Street Bridge project and the 6th Street Bridge thread are your camo wrap of the week. During this project, I had to build a lot of brackets. So that's mine. That's a beauty, eh? Look at that 90-degree twist. You know how hard that is? Like, that's really hard. Bracket down there. There's a bracket there. There's a bracket up there. There's a battery box over there. I had to make fit and make work this tubing so that the windshield washer fluid reservoir still fits there. And I had to make fit this battery tray so the coolant reservoir could fit there. Because originally the battery was over there and the cooling reservoir was over there and the air box was over there, and everything is in reverse because this is the wrong engine for this project. So our custom brackets of the week award goes to Kluba, who takes scenarios that are less than ideal and he gets creative with them. You don't always have an awesome Python post or a thread that you can play off from. Sometimes you gotta create your own scenarios. Kluba's good at that. Congrats, Kluba. I hooked all this up and the air conditioning doesn't work. Compressor's down there. The air conditioning doesn't work. The system is full. There's our service ports. It just doesn't kick on. But does it really matter? Do you really need air conditioning? Is that like required? I don't think so. So our air conditioning that doesn't work of the week is Indy Frisco, who showed up in the Toontown chat, which was kind of fun. But was it really necessary? I don't know. Most of the time, probably not. Occasionally though, it's really, really nice to have. So thanks for coming to the chat, Indy Frisco. We hope to see you in Toontown again. When I did this swap, I was left with a lot of extra wiring. So this is a 1995 chassis with a 2002 engine, and you can see all of these extra wire pigtails. What's that about? Are those important? Do they function? Sometimes they work, like this one, okay? Throttle position sensor. Originally had 4 wires, and 2 of them were in the wrong position because this is the 1995 harness, and that's a 2002 sensor, and it articulates the opposite direction in 02 than it does from 95, and it's got a superfluous wire in case you have an automatic transmission. This has a manual transmission, so we don't need this wire. and 2 of those were reversed. So when it would articulate, so it's in the stop position, it thought it was in the full throttle position. So when you'd start it, it would rev all the way up and try to light on fire, which it actually did, because the previous guy who worked on this had the fuel lines reversed, and it would fill the intake with fuel because they had the fuel pressure line hooked into a vacuum line. And so anyway, so there's a lot going on. These superfluous wiring harnesses of the week go to Pop-Tart, because sometimes they work and sometimes they're just extra. And when you look at it, it may not make sense. So a casual observer would look at this and go, this doesn't make any sense. Why are there extra wiring harnesses everywhere? Are those needed? Are those significant? Do they have a function? That's our Pop-Tart. Some of his stuff doesn't make any sense. It might seem superfluous, but to him, it all makes sense. Bobby 42 showed up this week. That was kind of fun. Our Bobby 42 of the week is this driver's window switch, which came to me and didn't work. In the driver's window switch didn't work, and the right rear switch didn't work. So I tore it apart, took it all the way apart. This clamshell actually separates. Inside of there, there's all these contacts. The contacts were very dirty, so I cleaned them all up. I put it back together, and everything's great except the driver's up position. If I take my fingers like this and put it right here, and I squeeze just right, hang on, what's happening? Now, you have to turn the switch on. If I take this driver's switch, if I take my fingers and I hold them just like this, and I squeeze just in the right spot, see? It goes up. That metaphor sucks. All right. Our whole project of the week. So the whole project was, again, 2002 engine in a 95 chassis. The reason for that is the 95 chassis is a lot more robust, but the 3-liter engine they put in it was pretty doggy, pretty lousy. So you take the 02 engine out of a Tacoma, you get quad cam instead of single overhead cam, you get a little bit more displacement, you get variable valve timing, you get a lot of little tricks and did an additional tech that gets you about 100 extra horse. So our extra horse of the week goes to Rue, who has a race today, I think, and his horse reputation won like a month ago. I actually had a whole weekend review featuring Rue's horse reputation. I had a little video planned and my computer died. That's the week my computer died, and we haven't gotten back to doing this since. So this is your Rue of the week, the entire project.